Okay, so welcome to the brand new Lindy Fitness. Yay! If you haven't known, you've been following for a while. Thank you. Welcome back. I am now transitioning from doing typed out written essays to video content, and so instead, I've been doing a series, if you've been following, called "What the F is This?" where I talk about different things in fitness. First one was over about workout etiquette. I explain my most recent article. I explain resistance training, different things of resistance training, what that is. I also explained what cardio is and what different principles of fitness are. But now, as we're getting into this next subject on core, I figured it'd be a good way and a good time to transition to video. So if you enjoy this content, please give me a like, or you can consider following and becoming a patron. And let me know if you would like to see me remake all the other previous installments into videos as well. So, this is the...
Yo, who the F is this?
So, we're going to talk about core today. And this is something I appreciate how much it is talked about and it is discussed over the years, my time in fitness. I've been a personal trainer since 2012. Since November 2011. I've been a certified personal trainer, and so I've heard many people talk about core in different ways. And also in my dance background, in my dance hobby as an instructor and a class participant, as a Lindy hopper. Lindy hop is a dance I do. So for my non-dance people, that's where the Lindy comes from. Yeah, like throughout dance classes and things like that, I kind of hear core gets talked about by different instructors and teachers too. I think we forgot what the meaning of what core is.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Your core is your central part of your body. And so usually people refer to that as center of mass. A lot of times people say your core is from just below, from the sternum all the way down to your pelvis. So it includes like your stomach, hips, lower back, and things like that. People refer to it as the lumbopelvic hip complex. So your spine is divided into 3 different areas. You have your cervical, which is like the upper part of your neck. Then you have your thoracic, which is your upper back, the thoracic part of your spine. And then after that is the lumbar. So your core pretty much consists of pretty much your lumbar, spine, and your pelvis. The job of your core is to stabilize your spine and your pelvis. And so most time people hyperfixate on the abdominal muscles regarding your core, but there's so many more muscles that are involved. Like, yes, you have your rectus abdominis and your deep abdominal muscles in your obliques, but you also have the erector spinae, which is a major muscle in the lower back. But you also have the psoas major, which connects to your pelvis, and the pelvis connects to your spine. You have the iliacus, which is another hip muscle that connects to your pelvis and also connects to your spine. The quadratus lumborum, or QL muscles, as I'll probably really refer to those later, that connect to the lumbar spine and pelvis, or even the femur, which the femur is the long bone that inserts into your hip joint and goes down and connects to the tibia, which is your knee. So that big bone between the knee and the hip, that is your femur. So yeah, a lot of so more specifically, the iliacus connects to the your spine, pelvis, and your thigh bone. So when a lot of people fixate on your core just being your abdominals, it makes me kind of cringe because that's just not the case. There's so many more intricate muscles involved. A lot of people talk about core strength, stability, core strength, stability, core strength, stability. You get the point. A term I like is dynamic trunk stabilization is probably the main thing we discuss with that. And by dynamic trunk stabilization, essentially is keeping your trunk or your upper body, like if you think the spine as the trunk of a tree and then our limbs as branches coming out. As our limbs move and we perform different movements like projecting power through our legs or through our arms or things like that, we want to be able to utilize the muscles in our body to maintain stabilization through our spine. We don't want to have our spine moving excessively. And also in situations like we have, like that falls, also something that falls into line with dynamic trunk stabilization. when I talk about anti-rotational stabilization, like that's something that you'll hear talked about a lot in sports performance leagues, is certain movements the body will naturally rotate, but you want to have control of that rotation. You don't want that rotation just to go off willy-nilly and have it happen without any rhyme or reason. And that's the issue. That's the thing we want with core strength. Having a strong core, having strong muscles in our hips, lower back, abs, even our thoracic spine when it comes to a point, and even our thigh muscles to maintain stability of the trunk and our pelvis. And with that, I think what a lot of people, and going back to the overfixation on the abdominal muscles when it comes to core strength, we got to think of abdominal core activation, which is pretty much like the co-activation between the rectus abdominis and your obliques to keep the lumbar spine stable and the pelvis stable with hip and knee flexion, which like you'll see things like this in regards to running, which are movements that have a lot of hip and knee flexion, kicking, things like that. Even dancing, we have flexion of the knees and the hips, and you want to have the muscles firing efficiently that will help produce those movements. So like your iliacus, your quadriceps, your glutes, your psoas, and those things also be in activation with like with your QL muscles and your abs as well. So you want these muscles to be working in tandem of each other and working as a team to produce these movements efficiently in a way that keeps you safe, which is something that really doesn't get talked about with that. So with that, what the F is core? So I think before moving on, core is more than just the center part of your body. Your core is your spine. Your core is the foundation of your movement, and pretty much your spine is a foundation of the body, because not only the nervation starts there with that being connected to the brain, all the muscles and bones are anchored to the spine in some way, shape, or form. So for you to be able to have efficient, sturdy movement, you need to be able to have the muscles working together surrounding your spine to fire properly and activate properly to be able to produce sturdy movement as well with that. So, which goes into what exercises are good for your core. And a lot of times I know a lot of people discuss, you'll see a lot of videos of people like, don't do crunches, don't do this, don't do that, which is fine, and those things. And rather to tell people, and if you have success with those movements and you feel safe, you're not hurting yourself, and you're seeing improvement, I'm not going to tell you not to do those exercises. I would rather give you exercises that fall more in line with the thinking that I have been doing. And so once again, with the aspect of stability, the biggest thing we want to limit the movement of the spine. So we want to use exercises that accentuate maintaining a minimal movement in the spine. And so a couple exercises that we want to go over is the McGill Big Three.
Big Three. Now, these are based off of the research from renowned back expert Dr. Stuart McGill. Now, Dr. McGill has spent his entire life working on how to stabilize the spine and understand how the way in which we use our spine leads to certain types of injuries.
And have become very popular within the sports performance and physical therapy ranks. Those movements being curl-ups, also those movements being side planks, and as well as variations of bird dogs as well. And then over the next two exercises, my personal favorite is the single weight carry. Specifically, you want to start off with a suitcase carry, where you have pretty much, I typically like using kettlebells, but you can use a dumbbell. You can have a weight down to your side, and you take various, like you would walk, maintaining level shoulders, good posture, good diaphragmatic breathing, so breathing into your stomach where you have your diaphragm expand out to the side rather than just forward, and maintaining good posture. And what this is going to do is going to work on that abdominal co-activation that we're talking about. So you have to stay strong in your glutes, you got to stay strong in your in your abs and your obliques while also moving yourself forward. And you also have to stabilize yourself and maintain keeping a straight line from the top of your head down to the weight bearing leg, because all your muscles also in your hip are going to get strengthened as you take one foot off the ground and it swings forward for you to continue to step. You also have variations of this where you can do like a front rack carry, as you can see in the video, but also even an overhead carry, which with the shoulder issues I have right now, I don't really do much, but have done with clients in the past. And then lastly, my personal favorite is the pull-off press. You can do this with a band or a cable. I typically like to use this with a cable machine, so that way I can up the resistance and still be resist all throughout. You're just going to be set up with the cable pulley about around where your belly button is. You have to bring the cable out and extend it. And you're just gonna, you can do this with a horizontal push, so pushing out away from the body. And what this is gonna do is, once again, it's gonna help work on that anti-rotational stability, because you're not gonna keep the weight from pulling you and turning you back into the pulley, but also like you want also, not only is this going to be working your abs, but you're also going to make sure of keeping your glutes, hamstrings, and upper back muscles activated to keep everything in line. You can also do this with a vertical push as well, so that way you can work on just different maintaining a stable spine in different planes of movements. So if you would like more, I know we kind of brushed through a lot of those movements really quickly, but if you would like more information on those lifts, let me know in the comments. If you found this helpful, please like, share, subscribe to my Patreon. We'll have a link down in the description, and I hope this was informative. Have a good one.